3 days before Christmas, Maria sat in a holding cell, accused of stealing $40,000 from the old man she'd cared for like family. She never touched it. Every word of this is in a file. I keep the file, friends. Here's how it got so heavy, and where the proof hid. In his ear. The man who framed her had planned every move. The crooked lawyer, the rewritten will, the planted necklace, even her deportation. Everything except one detail about his uncle. He never guessed the room was keeping records. The archive forgot nothing. Maria came to America with one suitcase and one promise. Her daughter Sophia would reach college. 6 years as a live-in caregiver, wiring $800 home every month. No family, no savings, no net. You keep a budget too. So did she. Careful holds, until someone patient takes it. Her patient was Frank Delaney, 81, a wealthy widower rattling around a lakeside mansion built for a family long gone. Grumpy, difficult, sharp as a tack. He called Maria the last honest person in this state. The file agrees. That little hearing aid, friends, mark it. It's already listening. Frank spent 40 years as a recording engineer, and he'd tucked a tiny voice recorder into it. Helps me remember conversations, he'd wink. I won't tell you why it matters. It matters. Maria cooked his meals, drove him to appointments, walked his old beagle, Chester. Frank taped Sophia's report card to his fridge. That kid's going places, he'd grin. They were family. Almost. Then Derek appeared at the gate, Frank's only nephew. Silk suit, a watch worth a year of Maria's wages, and a real estate business drowning in $2 million of debt. His retirement plan sat in an armchair worth 8 figures, calling him family. Derek toured the mansion, photographing the paintings, pricing the silver. Grant Derek this gift. He could hear which weakness a room won't guard. Relax, he told the phone. The old man's practically deaf. Then his gaze found Maria and went cold. The whispers started that week. Uncle, how well do you really know this woman? Caregivers scam rich seniors. It's all over the news. She's after your money, Uncle Frank. All of it onto a record still running. Maria froze in the hallway with Frank's dinner tray, listening at the door. Trust me, Uncle. I'll handle everything. She told herself it was nothing. It was not nothing. It was step one. Across town, Derek bought a $200 steak dinner for a lawyer, Prescott, the kind who never asks questions. New will, everything to me. And the caregiver? She disappears completely. A week later, Prescott was introduced as Uncle Frank's estate attorney. New documents appeared. Meetings happened right in front of Frank, while Derek took his calls in the open, pacing past the armchair. Who lowers his voice for a deaf old man? Derek changed the locks. He blocked Maria's calls to Frank's doctors. He lost her employment contract. Brick by brick, quietly, he built a wall around one lonely old man. Then, Maria noticed the car. A gray sedan outside the grocery store, outside the pharmacy, outside her church. Derek's family friend, always half a block behind, always smiling. You'd have told yourself it was nothing, too. It's never nothing. Inside the house, Frank was fading. His bank statements vanished. His heart pills went missing. Every week, grayer. Am I losing my mind? He whispered. No, Uncle, Derek smiled. Can't trust the help. The recorder caught that too. The archive forgot nothing. Then Maria's paycheck bounced. At the bank, the teller shrugged. Household accounts frozen, attorney's orders. Sophia's tuition deadline sat 9 weeks away, and Maria's hands wouldn't stop shaking. She tried one last time. Mr. Frank, something is wrong with your accounts. Derek slid between them like a closing door. That evening, he murmured into the phone. The necklace goes under her floorboard tonight. Wiped clean. 2 feet from a running microphone. That night, a shadow slipped into Maria's room above the garage. Gloved hands pried up a floorboard, and Ruth Delaney's $40,000 necklace settled into the dark. 6 years of Maria's wired paychecks planted in a minute. He set it down gently, like it belonged there. By morning, Derek was performing. Aunt Ruth's necklace is gone. Who else has keys? The police search took 11 minutes, almost as if somebody knew exactly which floorboard to lift first. They handcuffed Maria on the lawn while neighbors filmed. Frank watched from his window, confused and shrinking, Derek's voice pouring into his good ear. I told you, Uncle. I told you. The charge? Grand larceny. The bail? $50,000. 5 years of every dollar she earned. And stapled in her file, 1 extra page, a referral to immigration enforcement. He hadn't just framed her, he'd filed the paperwork to erase her. The next day, Derek visited her. He smiled through the glass, calm as a Sunday morning. Sign the confession and leave the country quietly. Or fight. Grand larceny, 7 years before you see Sophia again. Your choice, Maria. Her court-appointed lawyer was blunt. Take the deal. Plead guilty. A felony. Guaranteed deportation. Even the system had quit on her. Then a message from home. Mom, tell me it's not true. She couldn't afford to call back. This was the bottom. Across town, Frank signed the new will with a trembling hand. Everything to Derek. Prescott notarized it before the ink was dry. At the door, old Chester howled like something had died. But that night, Frank sat alone in the dark. Am I losing my mind? There was one way to know. He hadn't touched his recordings in months. Now, for the first time since Ruth's funeral, he tapped the hearing aid twice. Playback. The tiny recorder had caught it all. Every careless word spoken around the deaf old man. The whispered poison. The necklace plan. Prescott's immigration scheme. Every single word. Frank didn't confront his nephew. He quietly called his late wife's oldest friend, a retired federal judge, and said 9 calm words. My nephew framed my nurse. I can prove it. At the courthouse, the prosecutor had the necklace, the floorboard photos, a signed police report, an open and shut case. Then the doors swung open, and Frank Delaney shuffled in, holding one small audio file. The speakers crackled to life. Listen. The necklace goes under her floorboard tonight, wiped clean. Derek's own voice pacing past a dozing old man. Then Prescott. The immigration referral seals it. 200 people stop breathing. The record plays itself back. Charges against Maria dropped in 90 seconds. Against Derek, fraud, evidence tampering, conspiracy. Officers cuffed him at the defense table. You remembered the hearing aid. Derek never did. That was the whole case, really. The rest is paperwork. A neighbor's courtroom video hit 2 million views by Sunday. Derek's investors saw it. His creditors saw it and called in the $2 million overnight. Prescott lost his license Friday, and Frank's real will held a single line for his nephew. To Derek, I leave nothing. He knows exactly why. $2 million in debt, 0 inheritance, a trial date of his own. The tape cleared her in 90 seconds. It couldn't give back the Christmas Maria spent in a cell, or the months Frank spent doubting his own mind. Justice came, but it never refunds the wait. To Maria, the will left the guest house free and clear, plus Sophia's tuition, $28,000 a year, paid until graduation. You watched over me, Frank wrote. Now it's my turn. Sophia graduates next spring, debt-free. Maria still has coffee with Frank every morning, Chester at their feet. Where would you have stopped Derek? The day he toured the house, or never? Tell me below. Karma keeps flawless records, friends. It just needed time to press play. Next in the file, a landlord with 2 sets of keys. Karma kept 3. Subscribe, the archive never closes.